We first met when I was at university and Sue was still at school at sixth form, so you could say I was a cradle snatcher.
I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in 1999. I've had a lot of treatments and I have relapsed many times. However, at the moment I'm on a maintenance treatment. At the end of the day, you're still husband and wife, you're still together. You just got to try to go forward and try and put the lymphoma at the back of your mind, and try to plan and do things that are great fun, or that are enjoyable together, and do things that are apart, because you actually are a team, and it's that team playing that's so important. Before I was ill, we were a team, we divided things between us. Now the team is used to keep us both well. They say you spend the first half of your life at work and the second half working to keep well. I'm sure that's what we're trying to do, really.
We found that it was best to be together for all the consultations, because what would happen was that I would keep a log in a notebook of conversations and discussions, while Sue was able to have a direct interchange with the consultant. It was useful to keep conversation going during the treatment, to try and keep a mind off what was going on. Initially, the obvious question was, should I give up work to help look after Sue and help her through it, or carry on working? Thought about it for some time and decided that probably it was best to carry on working, because I did have the flexibility and they were quite understanding at work. It offered some sort of diversion.
I don't want anybody to feel guilty or embarrassed, because cancer is indiscriminate. If you get cancer, it's not your fault, and you must never think it's your fault. But I do want people to remember the needs of their carer as well as themselves, so that they give the carer a chance to relax and to get away from the cancer and to live something of their own lives.
Spending nights on their own, knowing that the other person is in hospital, was difficult. I'd wake up the following morning feeling pretty shattered because I hadn't had a full night's sleep, and then potentially having to go into hospital feeling shattered to try and cheer Sue up, who'd also been on her own overnight. So yeah, that was difficult. There was one occasion where Sue just had enough and said, "Please, can you get me out of here?" When you're in that sort of situation, the patient can get very stressed with nurses, with those they love, and it's important to try and calm the situation down and try and move on in a logical manner. There's some things you can do, and some things you just can't do, and you just have to accept it. Some friends tend to find it difficult to talk to Sue directly and ask them about how she is and how's the lymphoma doing, which is somewhat strange. And they ask me rather than ask Sue directly, and I have to provide the answer. We also have found that people tend to be reluctant to phone up if somebody that we know has died. It would upset Sue far more if she found out by accident, or even trying to contact them when they've died. So again, it's something that we don't really understand. One thing we have found, because Sue's had the lymphoma for such a long time, the longer it goes on, the sympathy seems to dry up. People tend to assume that, oh, you've lived for so long, you're going to live forever, and you're cured, when you're not cured.
This idea of muddling through, it is really helpful, because if you accept the fact that you can't plan long term, that upsets a lot of people. We've come to terms with that. So if you've got short-term manageable goals, that can be quite fun, and you never quite know what you're going to do, but provided you do plan for the short term and that you try to have enjoyment and sometimes do things you never thought you would, I think that's really helpful. So our muddling through has become the new norm, actually. You have to seize the moment, really. I do definitely want to be able to help as many people as possible, because I don't want anybody to go through the fear that we went through when I was diagnosed. And if you can learn from somebody else who's gone through it, it is so very beneficial.
And I think we should finish with
Finish
a
with
hug.
a hug.
And a kiss.
It's embarrassing, isn't it?